All right, what's up, y'all? It's Wooly here. We're going to talk about Quantum DPS, or kind of, right? Because everything's iconics. I really didn't think I was going to do another build video because everything is pretty much the same regardless of power, unless your gadget's electric or ice, right? But Quantum, I just kind of switched to it on a whim just to see if I can make it work with the 2 Supercharge build and then run Oblivion. And I'm not disappointed. I did post a couple of B&E runs you can check out. Um, so let's just talk about it, right? So I've got 2 different AoE setups, right? We got the one on the right here, 3. This is my 2 supercharged build, right? And then I have a regular AoE setup. So we'll go ahead and we'll start here, and then we'll talk about the single target at the end of it. So this is the build that's going to work when you go into a raid with full supercharge, right? You can pop these back to back. I mean, you've got some cooldowns on it, Neo Venom, and then what's the name of this one? Temporal Vortex, right? So they do have a bit of a cooldown, obviously, when we're talking about running Scrap. It brings it down pretty significantly, so it's not going to be 30 seconds, it's not going to be 45 seconds, it's going to be closer to um, like 10, 12 seconds, 20 seconds for Neo, something like that. I don't know the exact number, but it scales it down quite a bit, and that comes in handy to do your best to, combat Circuit Breaker or 3 supercharges from gadgets, There's not really a third supercharge that you could run right now that's really anything that's going to actually deal damage. All you would be doing is slotting the EOG somewhere. And that's really the meta is EOG. So when we look at my artifacts, I'm running Candle. I'm not using the move because Spore, I feel, is better overall when you do need to slot in extra power there, and we'll talk about that. But Candle, I don't use the move. Some people do. If you don't have Spore, I think it's a good replacement. If you have Spore, I would probably just run Spore in place of it. Um, and you get the passive crit from it, so that's pretty good on its own. Um, Omega, of course, that's a must right now. Sinestro, Corrupted Powering, Scrap, and then I have Gemini. So I have Gemini is the meta. You got to have it if you really want to be playing as a DPS seriously. Like if you want to, uh, it doesn't need to be your main role, but if you want to play that role seriously, anytime you do play that role, then you need EOG. There's no questions about it. So this is my 2 supercharged build, and I still run EOG on my regular AoE build. Um, I know some people like to run Candle and Trans, but when you're talking about a group of sweats, when you get in those hallways, yeah, those ads are going to melt in 1 to 3 seconds. But you can still pop that EOG in there. And something like B&E, there's just tons of ads. So I guess it's just situational. But if we're going to talk about where we're at right now with B&E as the flashback raid, right? A ton of ads. You would be crazy not to be running EOG in the hallways. So we're basically just going to be running Temporal Vortex, Warped Reality. We got Starfire for the Might buff, Spore Pod, and then we're just going to be spamming Tachyon Blast, and of course we're going to clip Spore with Warped Reality. Right, so that's it, weapon tap. And then we're just going to spam Tachyon Blast until Omega is ready. Right, and then that's it. And then you just hit Omega, and then you would just cycle through your superchargers. So I like to start with Neo Venom, start getting those big hits out of the gate because everything is burst damage right now. Nothing is dots. So you really want to have the most out of your burst damage. And so Neo first because it is also the longer cooldown. And then when you come to the second set of ads, we're going to be running the other one, the other supercharge there. And we're going to cycle like this every chance you get. Slot your EOG under everybody that you can, because that's how you get your damage out of it. Just, you got to know when to use it. You got to time it right. You can't just be dropping it all willy-nilly and getting silly with it. You know what I mean? You've got to time it. Make sure you're not overlapping, because if my league mate drops his and I'm standing on him and then I pop mine, well, he's got priority. And so all my damage is going to go to him. Well, you know, a portion of it is going to go to him because his EOG is running. And it can't overlap when they fix that, you know, when they did the revamp of EOG. So those circles aren't going to overlap. So if he pops his, I pop mine, he gets it. I don't get it. I have to wait until his EOG is done and then pop mine, right? So you want to get it first or you want to wait. Just make sure you're not overlapping, because you're wasting it otherwise, right? So this is it. And so the allies are going to be the same for all the builds here. Some people run Blue Beetle. Mine is just not as leveled up. I think he's at 7. And personally, I feel Cyborg is a lot quicker with his animation when he comes out. So, you know, you call out Beetle, there's a good chance ads are going to be gone by the time he actually gets there. Cyborg is pretty quick, but he's the one I already had leveled up. That's why I'm running him for AoE Combat. And then Starfire, so we're going to be running the weapon buff for the might buff, and then Flash for the cooldown. This is the meta, okay? That's it. It's not static. It's Starfire, it's Flash. This is what you need if you're going to be running the best DPS build you can possibly run on any power. It's going to be a Supercharge build. It's going to be an EOG build. You need Flash. And then, of course, you got to have your ultimate Supercharge mod. I've never bought any of these. I've collected them from the events, and I still have a few of them left. I've got 3 left, right? And then, of course, tac mods. Everybody pretty much runs the same tac mods. Tumbling Master. And then with the ultimate mods, you got the crit chance here. Penetrating strikes. I put Warped Reality here just because I'm working on my troll arts, as you can see right here. But that's it. So these are the arts, and then those are the allies, right? And so let me show you on this one here. So this is the build you're going to switch to when you run out of Supercharge, right? So if you go into the raid with the full Supercharge, you'll run the other build. Once you run out of those back-to-back supers, it's going to take a minute to build it up if you're not running Starbolt or an SC gen. So you could run the SC generator in place of Spore here, but personally I think you're going to get more for your buck out of Spore overall. Because by then you're coming close to the end of the ad phase anyways, and you're fixing to go into the boss. So it's not going to matter. That one Supercharged Neo Venom is going to be good enough. And so you're just going to be... And that's it. You're just going to run it like that. And you just rinse and repeat, right? And it's a very simple build. You're just spamming one power over and over. And that's it for AoE. Single target. So for single target, we're going to be doing Spore and weapon buff, and then Starbolt. Now, let me show you guys really quickly. So Spore is really good on single target. If you got it, that's what you would use. If you don't got it, I guess use Einstein Ray or the finisher. I'd probably go with the finisher, but I'm running Spore. So if you got Spore, weapon buff. So I put Tachyon Blast here. I didn't put Einstein Ray just because Einstein Ray is kind of garbage. It does hit really hard, but you got a lot of ad phases in the bosses, so I tend to keep Tachyon Blast on. because it's really something I don't use, and if I do use it, it's just because I'm popping Supercharge, and I need that, you know, extra second before Starbolt comes off of cooldown, right? Because with Starbolt, it's got a bit of a cooldown, so you're just comboing it. And if I didn't have that second there, then I would just use Tachyon Blast until Starbolt was ready again. And then, of course, when you get Omega, then you just use Omega. And then for our Supercharge, we are going to be running Oblivion. So here's the thing with Oblivion. It's a 10K. It takes forever to build, or it feels like it takes forever to build. Because every time I'm parsing, you know, every time I'm in the raid, and I'm watching these guys drop their EOGs back to back, and I'm just like, man, this shit is taking forever, bro. It's worth the wait, especially if you get your EOG under everybody. It is worth the wait because it hits like a truck. So it is worth it. It's absolutely worth it to run Oblivion. It is a cheat code on single target. You could be lacking. You could be a little bit behind on single target, and you pop that on the boss, and you slide your EOG under somebody, you're going to pull ahead, bro. Quick. So it's worth the trade-off of not having a constant EOG going to have something like Oblivion or Big Gun. Just does absolutely massive damage, right? And then for the allies, the only thing we really changed here is the combat. We took out Cyborg, and we're putting in Zod because Zod is one of the better ones for single target now after the ally changes. And I already had him leveled up a little bit, so he's just the one that I've been using here. He's really good. And then, of course, same thing, Starfire, Flash. It is what it is. That's pretty much it. Like, that is it. So with this current state of the game and the way the powers are, you're not really running a full set of any power. You're running Iconics because Iconics are just outperforming everything else, and they're hitting so much harder. And there's just no reason to be running anything else. It is a little bit repetitive. It can probably feel a little bit boring, but it just is what it is. You know what I mean? So if you're thinking about going Quantum, I absolutely recommend it. It is banging right now. It's really just dependent on the superchargers, right? That's it. It's just the option of the superchargers. It's something different, but it's got good burst damage. And so, yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm probably going to stick with it. That's why I'm building my troll arts. So, yeah, anyways, guys, I know it's been a minute, but I figured I would drop this Quantum build because I've shown you the raids where I'm running it, but I haven't showed you the allies or the artifacts. But everybody should know what the artifacts are by now. But for sure, the allies. So that is what I got for you. I'll catch you next time. We'll be out. Peace.